Hey guys, Joe here, and here I'm to talk to you about my thoughts on low tiers. Now in this video, I'm just going to be talking about some of the things I really think do happen a lot with people that play low tiers and just the low tier characters in general. Just want to talk about them, but if you do not agree with any of the stuff I say, or if you have your own opinion, or if you have another thing, make sure to tell me in the comment section below. I really want to hear you guys' opinions. With all that said, let's get this started. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I really think a low tier is. Now in my opinion, I think a low tier is a person that has just less tools or just worse tools than a lot of the other characters in the game, and it does put them a little bit further down, of course, on a list of characters that people list. Now, of course, the tier list isn't always 100% correct, but a lot of the times it is somewhat right, and it also, in my opinion, really talks about the matchups, and if they have a lot of good matchups, or if they actually have a lot of bad matchups. A lot of the low tiers just don't have a lot of the best matchups in the game, but at the same time, just because you have a disadvantage, it does not mean that you have lost the game. I don't get why people think this. When you pick a low tier, you do not lose the game for picking a low tier. You don't pick a high tier and instantly win the game. You don't pick a mid tier and tie with all the other mid tiers. You don't win or lose just simply because you pick a certain tier. Really, it's all up to player skill level, just you have a higher % chance to win. I really feel like if you have an easier job to win. And you probably, especially a higher level of gameplay, it'd be easier to pick a high tier to win, but you still can win with these low tiers, and we see that a lot of the time. Now, a problem about low tiers that I've really spotted for myself is that when I try to play them, they really take a lot of time to kind of master. You have to put a lot of work into them, because a lot of them actually are pretty hard to play and pretty hard to play correctly because their kit's just a lot different. A lot of them, though, you have to put a lot of time into them, and you get very little reward back. For example, if you pick somebody up like Mario, you put a little bit of time, you get a ton of reward, but if you pick somebody up like Mewtwo, you have to put in a lot of time, and you don't get the most reward in the world. Many of them are really quite hard to play correctly, and even when you do play them correctly, the opponent still will have a higher chance for winning against you than you do just because they're picking someone that's a little bit stronger and has a little bit more tools. But at the same time, even though you don't have the most reward, you still can beat anybody with a low tier. You don't auto lose because you do pick this low tier, it just will be a little bit harder for you, and that's what I really think tier lists are all about. Also, a thing about a lot of the tier lists is that most of them do seem to be quite undiscovered, and in fact their movesets and the way they can be played, their playstyles and all that stuff, it's really undiscovered compared to a lot of the high tiers just because not many people are playing them. This means though that a lot of the times, low tiers will skyrocket up the list once something about them is just found, or once they get a bit of a buff. This really happened to Meta Knight, as we saw at the very beginning, and also with Luigi, especially in the 3DS days. They were thought to be really not way too great, but very, very quickly they shot up the tier list, and they were, you know, a top tier. So that can happen a lot to these low tier characters. I won't be saying that it will happen to your character, but I'm just saying to point it out that that does happen quite a bit. And even if you don't shoot up to the best character in the game, you still can find something that gives you very good tools that can put you up a little bit stronger. So other than just the pure power of low tiers and really why I think that they are where they are, I want to talk about some of the other stuff about them. The first thing is that it is very easy to be noticed within your state or your nation or your region, whatever you are, if you play a low tier. If you play somebody like Sheik, you're just one of the hundreds of thousands of Sheiks, maybe not how many players, but you're one of the very many Sheiks. But if you play somebody like Bowser Jr., not very many people play him, and then you get some more recognition. So it can be kind of nice to be noticed, but at the same time you should not be playing your character just to be noticed. I actually see it quite often that people do pick up a low tier just so that they can show how much better they are than the opponent because they are winning with that low tier. And I really think that's quite annoying. You shouldn't be picking up a low tier just to be like, I'm better than you because I'm beating them with a low tier. That's pretty much, in my opinion, like picking a top tier just because of their power, not because you enjoy them and not because you just want to win or whatever. Like, I don't know, it's very annoying to me, and I'd say you should only be playing a low tier if you A, have a lot of fun with them, or if you B, are actually having a lot of success with that character. You shouldn't be playing them just to rub it in somebody else's face. But let's say you are just playing your character because you enjoy them or just because you think they're pretty cool, but you're having a lot of trouble actually winning with your low tier. So what you should do, in my opinion, is pick up an easy bait combo, mid to high tier, at least an easy to play person, and learn the mechanics of the game a little bit better. Somebody like Mario, you could pretty much learn the game pretty dang easily. But after you do learn the mechanics, after you do get a little bit better, go back to your low tier hero and see the improvement. I've seen a lot of improvement in a lot of these low tier mains that have played around me. They pick up somebody that's a little bit higher tier, but at the same time it's just very easy to play, and then they switch back to their low tier, and you can see a lot of improvement. They just have more game knowledge, and they can just do better overall. Finally, I would say that if you are a low tier main, don't get into the habit of blaming your losses on the fact that you do play a low tier. If you can't handle losing as your low tier, then pick up a mid or a high tier. I hear this so much times when people are like blaming because they're just picking up this low tier. They're like, I lost because I'm playing said low tier. I'm like, well, if you're really so angry about losing with that low tier, pick somebody else. Pick a mid tier, pick a high tier, and if you think you're going to do so much better as them, then pick them. Don't complain if you are playing your low tier. It's your choice to be playing that low tier. The opponent doesn't really care. I don't really care. You are the only one that should really care that you're playing that low tier, and you should not blame the fact of your losses on the fact that you are playing that low tier. Thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to get out some of my own opinions and my own thoughts about low tiers because a lot of people always want to hear about them. And I may be doing a few more videos about low tiers if you guys do want, just talking about certain ones in particular. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button. Also, comment down below your opinions on this stuff, and press subscribe, and I'll be seeing you all next time.